Hey guys, in this video I'm going to break down to you the way I am able to remember my protocols, the way I'm able to remember the things that I'm supposed to do for a certain patient in a very specific time frame with a very specific medication or algorithm to proceed. For those of you that don't know, a protocol is something that we use in New York City to call the algorithm for treatment that we're supposed to use on a patient. So the first thing you need to do is, one, stay on top of them. Read them on a regular basis. Ideally, every 1 or 2 weeks until you know it so much that then you only have to read it like once a month. Second thing is, work in the area where you have a high call volume, and the more you do it in a real life scenario, the easier it is to remember. Third thing you need to do is, when you see the protocol, try to make sense of it. Read it slowly. If you read an area of the protocol that you don't understand why it is what it is, then try to make sense of it. Deduce the reasoning behind what the medical directors and the doctors who created this protocol were thinking. For example, the seizure protocol is a protocol where you are supposed to give the medication to eradicate and control the seizure on standing order, which means you give it without calling the doctor. If you look at it closely, the reason why you're giving this before calling the doctor is because this is a real medical emergency. You don't want to spend time on hold. What if the doctor's talking to another ambulance crew and the other ambulance crew is on a cardiac arrest and they're busy? The whole city's calling these doctors and they're super busy. And you have a person in front of you who's seizing. Example, I had a patient that went from preeclampsia to eclampsia. Preeclampsia to eclampsia. We gave her max sulfate. After giving her the max sulfate, which is a smooth muscle relaxant, what this smooth muscle relaxant was doing was preventing the smooth muscle in the uterus from choking out the baby. Because when you have a seizure, you have spasms of all the muscles in your body, and that's why when you have that body-wide seizure in a pregnant lady, we gave her midazolam. And that patient that I'm thinking about was about 250 pounds, 8 months pregnant, seizing, cyanotic, and was seizing in front of her husband, which was like about 6'6", 300 pounds, big guy, full of tattoos. Really, really intense scene. Imagine seeing a pregnant lady having a seizure. And these type of scenarios, which could happen to you at any call, you never know when it'll happen. This is the reason why, for a protocol like a seizure protocol, you don't have to call to give the medication, because there's instances where it is better for you to just do the procedure than to call for guidance. So when you read the protocol, try to deduce that. I mean, it's easier for me to deduce it. I mean, I'm a whole doctor. I'm a doctor who's able to understand these things. And I have South Bronx experience, nearly 20 years on the ambulance. So that makes it easier for me. But in your case, you don't have that level of experience. It's okay. What you need to do is read your protocols often. Stay in the area where you can pick up a lot of patients, ideally. And if not, just read them slowly and try to understand, why is this first, why is this second? And then look for guidance. For example, go ahead, go in the comment section, ask me a question. Hey, why is this the way it is? I'll answer it for you. I don't mind. The best knowledge is the one you share with somebody, right? Or go to your local ER and ask one of those doctors, why is this medication that dosage? Like, ask why and make sense of it, because you have the option to remember it, to like rewrite it and regurgitate it and keep saying it inside your brain, and that works too. I did it. But the ideal way for you to do that is like memorize it, of course, especially when you're about to take the New York City REMAC exam. But also make sense of it, understand it. Don't be a cookbook medic. Don't be a cookbook EMT where it says put 1.5 spoons of sugar, 2.5 spoons of flour, and you just do what it says because that's what it says for you to do. Make sense of it. And that's the better way. That's the ideal way for you to become a better medical provider. Because half this job of working on the ambulance is actually caring. Like, once you care, half the job is already done. So prove that you care, and not only give the medication because you see this patient as a CAD number. You see this patient as a protocol. See this patient as a human being. Use the protocols and make sense of them. That way, it's easier for you to remember. Because literally, I'm sure you ran into EMTs and paramedics that you're like, yo, bro, if this dude could do it, anybody could work this job. All right, guys? And that's because the barrier to entry is really low. But that doesn't mean that because the standards are so low, your standards have to be so low. Be the best you can be while people are trusting you with their lives. All right, guys? I hope this helps. Peace.